Hey guys, welcome to BP the Bible Perspective. Generational racism. Yes, racism passed down through the generations. Recently, junior high schoolers thought it was funny to hold a slave auctions. Now, before we get into it, please like and share this video and subscribe to BP the Bible Perspective. And as always, if you have a thought or comment, add it to the comment section below. All comments are welcome. I want to play a clip first, and then I'll come back on the other side and talk about this junior high school. Now, this clip is about nearly a year. The incident happened nearly a year ago. But I want to highlight the generational racism that still exists, while some pretend racism doesn't exist. All right, let's play the clip and then I'll come back on the other side.
Students at a North Texas high school are in trouble over a mock slave auction they ran on Snapchat. Civil rights activists told the Fort Worth Star-Telegram that a group of ninth graders set up a slave auction of black classmates. The Star-Telegram acquired a screenshot showing this. They say in one post someone offered up $1 for a peer, while someone else said in the chat they'd spend $100 for another person. The Aledo school superintendent said district officials had learned over 2 weeks ago of cyberbullying of students based on race. But aside from having conversations about this, the district did not say what kind of discipline these students are now facing. At the CBS 17 digital desk, I'm digital reporter Judith Ratana.
Now, this is an actual slave brochure. If you notice, it's January 10th, 1855. You know, look at the prices, look at the ages, right? They don't have prices on here, excuse me, but they have the kind of what is going to be auctioned off. $3, you know, black men from ages 20 to 26, strong, able bodies. One wrench, Sally, age 42, excellent cook. One wrench, Lizzie, age 23, with 6-month-old pickaninny. One black, age 52, good kennel man. $17, ages from 12 to 20, excellent. Now, let me show you some other pictures of slave auctions, since they thought this was cute. See, this is what they're mocking. This is kind of post of actual. This is how they were auctioned off, treated as cattle, treated as unhuman. You know, no dignity. Huh? Here's another one. If you want to look at it, what's going on right there too, the daughter's probably going to be snatched away from the mother and sold off. You see these other slave auctions where they had to force family members apart. Now, slavery, and this is, need to understand something about American slavery, about any slavery. And of course, we deal with American slavery because we are Americans. And one of the unique things about the American slave trade, well, it was the first time where they targeted a single race of people. See, all of the slavery has been around throughout human history. Pretty much, if you were a weaker tribe or nation and you got conquered, you were slaves to one degree or the other. But it wasn't kind of necessarily viewed in terms of race. The Atlantic slave trade also, you want to even go back in terms of the European Caucasian colonization, they targeted blacks, and they began back as early as the 1400s, 1500s, conditioning people that black people were inferior. And that brought about the Atlantic slave trade, because if you are not human, if you're inferior, you can justify putting in chains your fellow human beings. Of course, you don't think of them as human beings. The problem with the American slave trade was, remember, on the banner on our doorpost is freedom, right? Freedom for all. First slaves is reported as landing on the American shores in 1619. And for the next several generations, you had slaves born on this land. So that in 1776, when the Constitution was written, then enacted, black people were left as slaves despite that natural born citizens were not given their human rights, despite that in the Constitution itself, slave owners wrote, excuse me, that we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal by the Creator, granted rights by the Creator. But you see, when you say, well, black people wasn't human, so we can get around that. I'm not going to get into the three-fourths compromise, all of these things that happen. The idea was that these things were perpetuated by evil men, and that is the thing we need to understand. But it was also the fact that it was the conditioning that slavery was okay. How does a nation that boasts in Christianity, that boasts in, freedom for all, how does that nation say we can target a particular race and enslave them? See, the hypocrisy, the cognitive dissonance, right? The problem is that, remember, they conditioned white America that this was okay. Not all whites, of course, because many whites fought and fought against slavery. That eventually brought its end in 1865. You also need to know that they fought the bloodiest war on American soils to end what should have been an American institution, an American right for its citizens. Now let's fast forward, because racism has been a part of our nation. While not all whites, certainly many whites, you can say half and half, right? Because it's always been this half and half fight. You have half the nation fighting for slave rights, while half the nation fought against it. Even when people say, well, we're past racism because we elected the first black president. You hear people say that. Now, usually the people who are saying that, one, are the racists, that two, they didn't vote for that first black president. Okay? So, now, what I want to say is that from generation to generation, racism was passed down, which is why in 1865, after the bloodiest war that was fought, that succeeded with 100 years of Jim Crow, segregation, when you went from slavery to segregation. Then in 1965, that ended legal racism, but not in the hearts of people. So then you had things such as the great Sullivan strategy. But let's just kind of come on to the present day. And the present day is when you have this mock slave by junior high students. This would happen in North Texas, by the way. And my point is that the generational curse that these junior high people in 2021 still think the same way that racists have always thought from the beginning of this nation. All right, guys, look, that is my perspective. Love to hear your thoughts and comments. All comments are welcome. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to BP, the Bible Perspective. Till next time, I'll see you then.